Welcome to another episode of Your Next Move. I'm your host, Evan Saint-Gerard. Our special guest today, I'm going to let him introduce himself, where he's from. Special guest, introduce yourself.
Hey, Evan, it's great to be here. My name is Mike Pastor, and I am in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
All right, Mike, thank you for being on the show, first of all. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into the journey of becoming a real estate agent, and how long you've been in the business? Tell us everything we need to know about you as a real estate agent in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, so my background was in IT. I was a network engineer for many, many years. And about 11 years ago, I started to look for a career change, going down a different path. And I happened across real estate and fell in love. So I've been doing it ever since. That was back in 2013. I started doing fix and flips immediately. That was the entry point that I started with, as opposed to being an agent. I got my license at that time to sell my own flips, and it increasingly became hard because Pittsburgh was getting a lot of attention from flippers nationwide, and so the market started to get a little crowded. And so that's kind of when, like, 2017 is when I shifted focus to being an agent 100% full time.
Okay, well, my follow-up question normally would be what inspired you to choose this career, but you kind of answered that. Is there anything else you want to add to what inspired you to stay in this career?
Yeah, so I love real estate and I love helping people, and that's being an agent is the best of both worlds there. And just the architecture, especially around the city of Pittsburgh, is really cool and really inspiring, and just it's such a variety that it keeps you, keeps your interest, I guess you could say.
Okay. Well, speaking of keeping your interest, tell us about the local vibe in Pittsburgh. What would you say? How would you describe the vibe and lifestyle in Pittsburgh?
So Pittsburgh has traditionally been an old school town. I'd say until about 15 to 20 years ago, it was very old school. Everything, it was a steel industry town, blue collar, hardworking folks, industrial area. And 15, 20 years ago, we had some tech companies start coming in, and just a lot of different industries piling into the area. So it kind of brought a different vibe, over the past 15 years or so. So we have, the best of all worlds now. So we got the big tech companies, we got all kind of arts and entertainment that have really been built up over the last decade or so. And there's a lot here. I always tell people there's something for everybody in Pittsburgh.
Okay, great. All right, well, my next question would have to be, what interesting trends are you seeing right now at the time of this recording?
Yeah, so as far as trends in the real estate industry, this is like everywhere else. So it depends on the neighborhood. I think so far in 2024, we're in late July here. Average sale price is up to $305,000, and that's for the greater Pittsburgh area. I'll call this Allegheny County, which Pittsburgh is directly in the center of Allegheny County. When somebody says the greater Pittsburgh area, they're likely talking about the whole county itself. So average sale price about $305,000. Last year, sale price was only like $284,000 for the same area. So we're seeing property values appreciate at a pretty decent rate, and you could tell by the price, it's very, very affordable too. So I'm
glad you mentioned the affordability factor. I'm kind of curious, as a New Yorker, what can I get for that price that you just mentioned, the $350,000?
So
the price that you just mentioned.
Yeah, so $305,000. You're basically, there's several different architecture styles. We have ranches, split levels, 2 stories, 3 stories, townhouse, patio homes. We have some of everything, but the typical Pittsburgh suburb house, I would call, in that 305 range would be like a 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom split entry, which I don't know if you guys have that, those style of houses in New York, too many places. But it's basically you go in the front door. You can either go up a half flight or down a half flight, and going up you have everything, living room, kitchen, bedrooms, and then downstairs is more like a family room and garage down there. So
We have that. It's different places in New York. We have split
yeah.
levels, exactly what you're describing right now. We kind of mentioned affordability. We talked about the kind of houses that you have out there.
Mhm.
So I guess my next question would be, what are the financial perks to new residents that come out there, if any?
As far as like cost of living?
Yeah, cost of living.
Yeah. So cost of living, I would say, is generally pretty low compared to big metro areas around the country. For somebody like me that's been here their whole lives, it seems to keep going up and up. But compared to, like I said, other metros around the area, we're very inexpensive to live here. So that is
So
that is with that.
Okay, that's interesting what you said right there. What are
Mhm.
some amenities that some residents can expect?
Okay, so yeah, there are a lot of parks. If you like the outdoors, there's over the past, I'd say 7, 8 years, the city has really improved their biking, walking, and all the trails around the city. There's pretty extensive trails that kind of hook into like national trails, like the Appalachia Trail that goes down to the Smoky Mountains, stuff like that. Um, we have a pretty large cultural district. If you like theater, entertainment, there's several theaters that draw some pretty big nationally known shows. Anything from Hamilton, we are getting Hamilton right now in the Pittsburgh area, to like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. So you got the high end, and then you got all kind of stuff for kids too. We have a very large zoo and aquarium here that is it's pretty big. There are, I believe, almost 500 different species of animals at our zoo. 5 or 6 different museums. There's a lot of, like, I'll call them like play zones for kids. There's like trampoline parks everywhere. Those are very popular. And we just started seeing pickleball come around.
I can't seem to escape pickleball in every interview that I do. Pickleball keeps coming up all the time.
Yeah.
All right, so
Well,
I gotta ask.
I'll tell you what, though, Pittsburgh is kind of behind the curve a little bit. They're slow to adopt things, I would say, traditionally. And so I am glad we are finally catching on to the pickleball craze.
I don't get it, but it's here. It's here to stay. All right. So, out of all the things that you mentioned, and maybe there's some other stuff that you haven't mentioned, what would you say would be your favorite spot that you would recommend to somebody who hasn't been here yet?
Yeah, well, so I have a young family. I obviously the entertainment for kids is big. We love the zoo. We love the history museum, where we get to see a big dinosaur displays and stuff. Ballparks. We have all three major sports teams here that have a long history, and I'm sure we'll get into that.
What teams? Let's get into it now.
All right. So Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, the Kings of the '70s. Pittsburgh Pirates and the Penguins. So
and out of those three, who's your favorite out of those three?
So I like the Pirates the best. Yeah. I was a big old school Pirates fan. Roberto Clemente was my guy. So
I'm giving you a thumbs up right now.
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
So anything else sports wise? Like, is there college sports or anything like that?
Yeah. So we have a D1 school, University of Pittsburgh. The Pittsburgh Panthers. They are They just switched. I believe they're ACC now. Yeah. And I wish they were a bigger player in football, but but we do. Penn State is not that far away either, so you have
Okay.
a lot of Penn State grads and alumni in the Pittsburgh area as well. So they
So
represent a little better in football.
there's something for any sports lover in Pittsburgh if they want to
Yes.
check
Yeah.
it out. Now you
Yeah.
mentioned school, so
Hmm.
that leads me into the job market. What job opportunities are out there? You mentioned some colleges, so you want to
Yeah.
delve into that? Either one.
Sure. Yeah. So, University of Pittsburgh is there's three major schools: University of Pittsburgh, Carnegie Mellon University, and Duquesne University. So, University of Pittsburgh is big in business and the medical field. Those are their two, what they're known for. Carnegie Mellon obviously is tech and innovation, and Duquesne is a great law and business school as well. So there are, three great colleges right in downtown, and they're pretty large and have a lot of campus amenities as well.
All right. So if you're going to be on campus living or around campus living, or I'm going to say you have adult kids going to campus living, or whatever the situation is, what's the transportation like in Pittsburgh? How do people get around?
Yeah, so there is a bus system that is uh, pretty good. Once you get a little further away from the city, it can be a little treacherous because you could be waiting a little while. But inside the city, it is very good, and there is a tram system and underground railway as well that transports from one side of the river to the.
I can't do this video without asking the obvious question. As a New Yorker, we have tons of traffic, so I got to ask, what's Pittsburgh traffic like when you're on the
I'm
roads?
glad I'm glad you brought that up, and I was going to get to that in a little bit. So, if you're looking to move here, one huge recommendation I would have is figure out where you need to be, like where you're going to be spending a lot of time. For example, where's your job located? And then look for a neighborhood that is on that side of the town. Because I don't know if you're familiar with Pittsburgh, or you could look at it on the map. There are
Mhm.
three major rivers that just come together in downtown Pittsburgh, and getting from one side of the city to the other one during certain parts of the day is tough. Is tough. There's tunnels on three sides of the city that run into into and out of the city on major highways, and there are only two lanes on each side, so it could be pretty congested for that morning commute, and you're on your way home in the afternoon.
All right, well, as you're commuting back and forth from work to home, you're probably commuting somewhere else. What are other things to do for fun? You already mentioned the hiking trails and some of the waterways.
Mhm.
What else is there to do?
Yeah. Uh, Eating. Eating,
My
yeah,
favorite subject.
that's one of my favorite. Yeah. um, there's eating. The sports teams. There's a casino. If you want a night out on the town, there's an area called Mount Washington that overlooks the city. It is absolutely beautiful up there. So it's basically a cliff, and at the top sits this like really populated area with uh, high-end restaurants and condos and stuff that overlooks the city. And like at dusk or right at nighttime, the view is just unbeatable, man. um, if you're so there are two really old. I don't remember what year it was, but there's inclines that go up and down that cliff to Mount Washington, and that's something. If you're visiting the city, that's something you have to do because it's a cool experience.
And what about nightlife? Is there any other nightlife activities for people to do? of all
Yeah,
ages?
so there's a number of clubs in the surrounding downtown area. There, like I said, the casino. There's great dining all over the city, and like I said, the cultural district. They have a huge variety of shows and attractions throughout the year. They usually keep up a pretty good and full schedule throughout the year too.
So, what's your favorite spot?
My favorite spot to eat. Okay, to eat. I'm gonna have to go with a restaurant called 11. It is modern American. They like my wife and I are like really passionate about like farm to table restaurants,
Okay.
and they are that, and they're located in a section of the city called the Strip District. This is a really really cool area where there's all kind of shops and stuff. My favorite grocery store is in the Strip District as well. So there's a place called Woolies Fish Market, and they
Okay.
have fresh fish come in every single morning. I mean, I'm talking crab legs as long as your arm. I mean, it's just fantastic. But yeah, 11 is great. They have a really really cool vibe, and is I would say as far for a steakhouse is right in downtown. My favorite steakhouse is called the Capitol Grill,
Okay.
and it is located right in the center of town. It's close to the cultural area as well, and so it's a short walk. You know, you could go for a nice dinner, go for a show afterwards, and it's a pretty awesome night.
All right. So, question number, I forgot what number we're on right now, but
Yeah.
what community events, cultural events can people take advantage of during different seasons in Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Or what would you
So
recommend?
so during the summer, there are all kind of events throughout the city. A Greek food festival. My favorite is Little Italy Days. So basically, there's a small section of
Wait,
the
I have
city.
to stop you for 1 second. You said Little Italy Days, plural?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. It is a festival in a little section of the city called Bloomfield. And back in the day, this was an area that Italian immigrants concentrated in, and it congregated to. And every year they will have different vendors come in, and people just a lot of street food, Italian food, and things to do down there, and it's really cool. There's an art festival. I believe that's in May, the end of May. And all kind of events, man. There's really something you could. There's literally a new event every single weekend in the warmer months.
It's really cool. All right. Now, my next question is personal favorites. Do you have any personal favorites? What do you personally love the most about living in Pittsburgh?
So I think the people were pretty awesome. Yeah, the people here are great. Everybody's friendly. You're walking down the street, you'll get people to say hi, instead of just look the other way. It's a cool vibe.
Uh, do you have any funny or memorable experiences that you'd like to share with the audience?
Well, so let's see. I'm trying to think. You will get some crazy weather in Pittsburgh.
Okay. Define
For
crazy
sure.
weather. What's crazy weather for you
Uh,
guys?
so crazy weather, you could have the morning be 55 degrees, and then you get a blizzard at night. and
Okay.
and that was the situation one night for me and my wife. We were celebrating Valentine's Day. It was great, great morning. We rented a limo and we're going to a restaurant on Mount Washington, and we go in there. It was starting to get colder, and so our limo dropped us off, and we had dinner and stuff, and we hung out for a little while. And to get a call from the limo driver, he's like, "Mike, I can't get back there," because it started snowing in the meantime. He's like, "I can't get back there." So
Okay.
we were like stranded at this restaurant for like 4 hours, man.
Well,
And
luckily
so,
you were
yeah,
there with your wife, so
yeah, yeah. So that is one thing. That is something that people moving here from other parts of the country need to get used to, because Pittsburgh, southwestern Pennsylvania, is very hilly. When it snows, and the salt trucks and stuff aren't, out, or a storm catches them by surprise and they're not out, all the full force is not out, you could be in trouble, man, if you're not used to that. So,
I'm glad you said that, because that was going to be my next question. What should somebody
mm,
expect if they're thinking about moving out there, either to
yeah,
purchase for their forever home, or they're possibly thinking about renting a property, or they're possibly thinking of doing like an Airbnb type thing?
yeah,
What should they expect if they come out to Pittsburgh?
yeah. So, as far as buying their forever home, you have such a wide variety of choices. You have condo living downtown, suburbs, anywhere from half acre lots to even within 15 miles of the city, you could find massive rural properties. Like, I'm talking like 50, 100 acres, and really there's everything in between. Airbnb, there is no, and this is for investors too. There's no Airbnb permitted within the city limits. So that is one thing that I think. I mean, I don't agree with, but I can see their point.
No,
It's not.
a lot of people basically they're for and against it. So it's good to know about these things before you
Yeah,
decide, hey, I might be going over here, and this is what I plan to do. So at least you know beforehand what's allowed,
yeah,
what's not allowed.
yep. But if you are looking to invest in Airbnbs, there are certainly other areas outside the city that are highly desirable that would work. Yeah, for sure.
All right, Mike. We covered a lot of stuff. Is there anything like a best kept secret that people don't know about Pittsburgh that they should know, and that should probably be on their radar, someplace that they want to make as their next move that we didn't cover yet?
So I could go back to food a little bit. There's a couple staples that people should try. Um, and it's so first you have a Primanti Brothers sandwich. Have you ever heard of Primanti Brothers? Okay, so this is a Pittsburgh thing, and it's putting they serve all their sandwiches with fries and coleslaw on the sandwich. That
You got my
is,
attention. Keep talking.
yeah, that is one thing that Pittsburgh is certainly famous for. Um, like, I'll talk to people around the country, and they're like, whenever they visit, oh yeah, I love Primanti's. So everybody knows about Primanti's that visits here, and it's pretty cool. We do that with salads too. There's fries and chicken or steak on what's called a Pittsburgh salad.
Wait,
And
describe that Pittsburgh style one more time. I want to make
so
sure
you
I
get,
understood that.
yep. So you got lettuce, tomato, whatever else, mushrooms, whatever else you want, some egg, hard-boiled egg, and either steak or chicken and French fries.
The most important ingredient, French fries. See, I've
Yeah.
been saying that for years, people. You should have French fries in your
Yes.
salad, which I do all
Yes.
the time. But anyway, now that I
And
know it's from Pittsburgh,
yes, Pittsburgh has some very famous fries. So our amusement park, um, located here, is called the Potato Patch, and these fries are hand cut, you know, on the spot and fried. They are probably the best fries that I've had anywhere, and that is the same style of fries that Manny's puts on all their stuff too. So it's pretty cool.
all right. Besides the food, anything else? Any other best kept secret? That alone will make me want to move right now. Honestly,
Yeah. So, um, yeah, there is, if you like, I mean, besides the food. So, the sports for sure. I mean, we have, I think it was either this year or last year that our baseball stadium, PNC Park, was voted the best in Major League Baseball. So, it's a very cool, family-friendly venue, and easy walking distance to, the kids museum. I mean, you could literally make a day out of visiting. If you have kids, you have things to do all day long for sure down there, and you go to a ball game at night.
Mike, everything you just said pretty much sounds like an exciting option for people who are considering, all right, I need to make my next move. Where am I going to? Maybe I should give Pittsburgh a try. With that being said, how can our listeners reach out to you, find out more details, book an appointment to show them properties or whatnot? How does somebody reach you?
Yeah, so they could reach me on my social media channels at Pastor Sells PGH. And my phone number is 412-214-9494, or you can search me out Mike Pastor-Pittsburgh Realtor.
All right, guys, you heard it from his mouth. If you're interested, give him a call. I'm your host, Evan Saint-Gerard, here in Queens. I service Queens, Long Island, Brooklyn, the Bronx. When it comes to real estate, residential sales, that's condos, co-ops, and 1 to 4 family homes. And if you have any questions about New York real estate, you're looking to sell your property here and move out possibly to Pittsburgh, give me a call. You can reach me on my cell phone, 917-975-5985. Our office line is 718-760. And the website is mynyhomesales.com. You can find me on all the social media platforms. And with that being said, we hope you got some education out of this. We hope you were entertained by this. And if you have any questions about anything, feel free to reach out to us. See you on the next episode.